Back in January 2021, PMI has introduced important changes to the PMP exam. Are you interested in knowing what are those important changes introduced by PMI? If the answer is yes, keep watching this video. But before we start, let me ask you to subscribe to this channel so you won't miss important updates on project and program management I am sharing on a regular basis. My name is Essowe Abalo. I am PMP and PgMP certified, and I help PMP and PgMP aspirants to pass the exam on their first attempt. Yes, you hear me. You will pass your exam on your first attempt. So, what are those important changes PMI has introduced back in January 2021? The first important change PMI has introduced to the PMP exam is the exam location. Now you are able to pass your exam online as well as in the old way in the examination center. This time you can pass your exam in Pearson View Center. When you register for your exam on PMI website and you pay for your exam fees, you will be asked to choose whether you want to pass the exam online or if you want to pass the exam in the examination center. So you make a choice. The second most important changes PMI has introduced is the number of questions. PMI has reduced the number of questions on the PMP exam. It used to be 200 questions. Now you have 180 questions. The third important changes introduced by the PMI to the PMP exam is the time. It used to be 240 minutes or 4 hours in the old exam. Now it is 230 minutes or 3 hours 50 minutes on the exam. The fourth important changes introduced by the PMI to the PMP exam is the break. Before, when you go for your PMP exam, you have 200 questions that you need to take for 4 hours. And in case you want to take a break for toilet, for drinking water, or whatever it is, your timer was continue running. So you have to take breaks within the 4 hours. Now PMI has introduced breaks in the exam. So you will have 2 breaks of 10 minutes. And what could you do during those breaks? You can drink, you can go to toilet, you can even read your notes, you can do whatever. And believe me, if I recall my time when I was taking the PMP exam, at some point I was mentally tired and I just gave up. I was like, okay, whatever happened, it happened. I was tired. I was just selecting the answers as I felt. I remember, if my memory is correct, I was choosing the options that has the longest sentence. Somehow it was stupid, I know, but yeah, this is how the old PMP exam could be exhausting. That's why I recommend you to take your break, regardless of you feel you are fast or you feel you are super ready. I strongly recommend you to take your break. The other important change PMI has introduced is the exam content outline. The exam content outline used to be the 5 project management domain. Initiating project, the exam used to test your ability to understand the initiating the project, planning a project, executing a project, monitoring, controlling project, and closing a project. Nowadays, the exam will test your ability to understand how to manage people, processes, and the business environment. And then the next important change PMI has introduced to the PMP exam is the type of questions. In the old traditional exam, you had multiple choices. Now you have 5 different types of questions, which are multiple choices, multiple responses, matching by drag and drop, hotspot, fill the blank. And if you want to see what are the prototype of these questions, I put here the prototype. This first type is select one answer question. You will have a question and you have 4 options. You will have to select one correct answer. The next prototype of question is you have a question and then you have some choices. You can select 2, 3 depending on the question. You can select multiple of them. And this is the prototype of how drag and drop questions will look like on the exam. And this prototype, you can see them. The source for this video is on pmi.org and Edu Hotspot. Then the next type of question is the hotspot questions. The hotspot questions, you will have a question or a graph, and then you have to select the correct area of the question. And the last but not least is fill the blank type of questions. You will have a question with a gap within the sentence, and you have to select the correct option that fill that gap. And the next important changes, which I earlier mentioned, was the break. But with the introduction of the break to the PMP exam, how does the exam then works? Now, you don't have just 3 hours, 50 minutes to pass your exam, but you have possibility to take a break. How does this work exactly? This is what I'm going to show you next. During your exam, after you do the registration, whether you pass it online or you pass it in examination center, after the registration process is completed and you are about to take the exam, basically you start the exam. And then you will have next the first set of questions, which are 60 questions. So it goes from question number 1 to question number 60. And you will respond to this question. And in terms of time, how does the time look? If your watch is scoring around 70 minutes or 1 hour 15 minutes, you are still good with the timing. And after the first set of the question, the system will ask you, do you want to go for a break? If you choose you want to go for a break, and I strongly recommend you to take your break because this is for you, it's good for you, you should take the break. And if you choose the option to take the break, then PMI will ask you, do you want to review those questions you have marked to review? And then in case you mark some questions you want to review, please review them, and then you go for the break. You go 10-minute break, you can do whatever you want with this 10 minutes. And then when you come back, you have no longer access to the first set of questions because during the break, you could open your note and then they don't want to influence what you have already done by reading your note. So you will not have access to this set of questions. And then the next set of questions will start from question 61 to 120. And in terms of time, you should be around 160 minutes or 2 hours 40 minutes. So if your timing is showing 2 hours 40 minutes, that means you are in good progress. If you are below that, great. If you are still late, hopefully you will be able to catch up. Then you will the same process again. Do you want to go for a break? Yes. Do you want to review your question? Yes. You review them and then you go for the break. And then when you come back, you will have the final set of 60 questions, which go from question 121 to 180. And then in terms of timing, you should be around 230 minutes. I mean, that's the last set, 230 minutes of the exam. And that will be the end of the exam. And what happened after you submit the exam? Hopefully you will get this window saying certification exam report. First, you receive a message, congratulations, you just passed your exam. And then the report will show you, indicate you where you are in terms of the score. There are 4 types of grading. You have need for improvement. That means you are not ready at all. You score way below the requirement. And then below the target, meaning you try, but it wasn't good. So to pass the exam, you need to be either on target or above the target. Goal of my mentorship program is to help you score at least on target or above the target. All my students score above the target. Of course, my goal will be to make you pass for your first attempt by scoring at least on target. The best will be above the target. Then the next important changes PMI has introduced to the PMP exam is material for exam preparation. So for you to prepare for the exam, you need certain material. I did a video where I was explaining that to prepare for exam, you have two possible approaches. One approach, which is individual approach, and then another approach, which is taking a mentorship program, our mentorship program, or you can take any type of mentorship program out there. And the material for you to prepare for the exam, the first book you need to read is the PMBOK 7. PMI has announced recently that from in few months, so that means around mid of January, if you are taking your exam around mid of January, you should read the PMBOK 7. There will be questions around PMBOK 7. And we are monitoring this carefully, and we already start preparing questions around the PMBOK 7 so that our students can get ready also in case they receive other questions. And then the next book, which is important for you to read, is the PMBOK 6. PMBOK 6 is the PMBOK that talk mostly about predictive project management. It teaches you how things are working. And I strongly believe that even preparing your exam only with PMBOK 7 without reading PMBOK 7, you should be able to pass your exam. But we need to follow the rules. We need to follow the guidelines that are recommended by PMI. My recommendation for you is to read also the PMBOK 7, the PMBOK 6, and the Agile Practice Guide. Agile Practice Guide allows you to understand the Agile project management. And the final book will be Exam Content Outline. Of course, the Exam Content Outline describes a certain task a project manager should do when he's conducting his duties as a project manager, and the exam questions will go around this. On top of this, you should, well, in case you don't have a mentorship program like mine, we recommend you strongly to subscribe to our mentorship program. Then you need to find yourself tools, practice for the exam question. There are many tools out there. You can, on Udemy, there are some interesting tools. On other various places, you can also find good tools. Or you can go for tools from Edu Hotspot. You will find good tools there. Thank you for watching this video, and if you like it, don't forget to press like and subscribe to the channel. Also, feel free to share the video to anyone who might be interested in this topic. Thank you.